I've been thinking a lot about how we, especially in our culture in America and stuff like that, how we love to complain about everything. And I'm someone who, especially as a teenager, would just, go on hours and hours of rant about how I was unsatisfied with the way the world was going for me and the things that were out of my control. I would get really, really pressed about things like women's rights and Roe v. Wade and stuff like that, and other things politically, and also just anytime, like, being in the car and then, there's a car in front of you that's too slow, or someone says something kind of rude to you or gives you a weird look, and then you want to talk to your friend about that for hours about who they are and what they did wrong and what you could have done next time. And there's a million little moments in my day that I would like turn into a complaint. Something sort of bad would happen, or mainly I'd come up with a story about how something bad happened or how something is going to happen if I don't do this thing. And then I complain about it, or I get angry at my sister, who's my roommate. Sometimes we'll go to shows together and she's getting ready and we're taking a while, and then I create this story of, oh, we're gonna be late now, and you're fucking it up, and like you need to do this and this. People have like said things to me about how much I complain, and that has been a problem in my life. My mom has like pulled me aside and been like, hey, like, we're trying to find apartments, but you keep, whenever we go to a different place and we're walking around it, you can only think of negative things to say. Even if there is a positive thing, you just say, oh, but well, blah 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 blah, like, I don't like the landscape, or I don't like the stores outside. And instead of just like taking it as it is and just deciding for yourself what that means for you, it's like I would come into it from a victim perspective of, I can't decide what's going on here. Someone needs to fix it for me. Someone needs to figure this out for me. Because secretly I feel like I'm incapable of knowing what's best for me and how to fix my own problems. And I think that is the root of it. So my mom, she's really into like the diamond approach, sort of this enlightenment thing, and she reads books. I don't really read because I have dyslexia. In one of these books, there was a chapter that she read to us, because sometimes we'll go to her apartment and she doesn't have a TV, so sometimes she'll just read us chapters from her books, about sort of like growing up, not just in like a physical way, but also mentally getting into a more adult mindset. And so I'm 19, right? So I guess I'm an adult now, but for many, many years, for the last 2 years that I've been like an adult, I've always felt very strongly that I just did not identify with that word. Like I felt weird about it. I'm like, I don't feel like an adult. I don't feel like I navigate the world like an adult. I don't feel like I'm coming into a position of authority as an adult or any of that. I still felt very much like I'm a kid. I'm in the kid position. When I walk into a store, I feel like I'm a kid and people need to help me. So this was a really interesting chapter that she read to me that really changed the way that I thought about myself and the world around us, especially in our culture. Oh, and how, yeah. Essentially, the idea of it was, when you're a kid, you do not have the autonomy and the power or the knowledge that you do when you are an adult. And so kids are reliant on, a parental figure to fulfill their needs. And so it is essential for a kid to like complain about things, like, I'm hungry, I'm tired, can I do this? Because they don't have the autonomy to really figure that out themselves. Like, Mom, can I go to this school? Like, they don't know how to sign themselves up for that. They don't know how, or they're getting bullied and they need help because they don't understand how to fix that situation. And they're not necessarily supposed to be able to know how to do those things yet. But as we get older, we still will feel like we are deficient in some way or incapable. And that will lead us to complain at the world like how we would complain at a parental figure to fix it for us. And I thought that was so fascinating because I feel like it's so true. Because I mean, what's it gonna do? Like, when you complain, like, was someone gonna swoop down and like fix it for you? And it ends up making you feel really shitty because you're giving your control up to something else just because you feel like you just can't do it because of your deficient ego structure. And that sucks. So I am gonna do a challenge where, at least for this week, I started like 2 days ago, I'm gonna stop complaining. Like, altogether. Which for me is really, really hard because that's like half of like what I say is a complaint at something. Like, oh, well, the weather's shit today, like I'm scared. But I have faith in like seeing where this goes because I feel like, when you put yourself in a position of deficiency, you're so cutting yourself off from the actual moment and experiencing what's actually going on. When I'm really upset about something or I'm trying to complain at someone to change something or whatever, a lot of it actually has to do with my physical needs not being met. Like, I have an example. I was in the car and I was driving. I'm usually the driver, and my sister was in the car with me, and she almost always like sits in the passenger seat because she likes to listen to her headphones, and she doesn't like driving. And I like driving sometimes. Anyways, I just moved to a city and there's a lot of traffic. It was like rush hour and I was getting overwhelmed like in this traffic driving to our mom's apartment. I didn't want to do it. And I was looking over at Ava, just blissed out on her headphones, not giving a shit that I was suffering in the traffic. And I just wanted to like ruin that moment for her or something. I just wanted to be like, I wanted to like yank off her headphones and be like, look at me, look how much I'm suffering, like comfort me right now, like say you'll do something for me right now. But like, what the fuck? Like, why? She has nothing to do with the fucking moment, and it took everything in me in that moment not to like say something like snarky to her, make her stop listening to her headphones and say something snarky to punish her for how I'm feeling. She has nothing to do with that. And I was sitting there, I was like, okay, well, what's really happening? Like, let's like decontextualize this. I think that's the word. And like, what's the moment? Okay, I'm in the car, right? Okay, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overstimulated. Why? Okay, well, I'm really tired, I'm really hungry, and like I'm a little bit dizzy. Oh, so, well, you can do something about that. Just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna soldier through this. I'm gonna park the car. It's gonna be okay. I'm capable. I've been driving for years. I can fucking park a car in a parking lot. Go upstairs. Okay, go to the bathroom. Scarf some food down. Just lay on a couch. You're fine. Like Ava has nothing to do with that. So that the kind of things really helped me like figure out like, okay, well, why am I really trying to punish people or complain about things? It's because I feel like I can't fix the problem myself. But once you can really identify what the actual source of your anxiety is in that moment, you're no longer looking at your ego and looking at what does this mean for me as a person? How does it look for me when they don't respect me and they don't answer me and they don't do what I want them to do and I can't control anything? It's no longer about you. It's about sort of like, how do I like fix like the things I can, you know, that it's not like a part of my ego structure. And once you really fix those things, you can relook at the moment and you can be like, okay, well, this was the problem. You know, at the end of the day, when you stop thinking of the world as this separate thing, or almost weirdly as like this parental figure that is gonna swoop down and fix things for you, I feel personally like, and I'm testing this theory because I'm not gonna complain anymore, well, maybe experience the world in a more moment-to-moment basis and feel happier about how things are going for you and feel like you just have more autonomy. And I personally think this is going to make me a lot happier because I'm not going to be focusing on things that are really negative that I can't control. So yeah, that's all I had to say. What do you think of my Hellfire shirt? I bought this shirt when I was it was the season part like 1 of season 4 came out. Okay, before part 2 came out. I just want to clarify that. And I bought this shirt because I was like, yeah, Eddie, whatever, Stranger Things. You know, I was gonna wear it around like fucking Ann Arbor or something. And then like this came like the day before part 2 came out, and I watched part 2 the morning it came out, and I was just like, I cannot wear this shirt outside. So I think I wore it out once, like the one day of grace before the part 2 came out. And I haven't worn it out yet, since, and I just went to a coffee shop like an hour ago, and I was getting really sweaty because it's like the middle of summer and I had a sweatshirt on and this is a long sleeve. I was like, I'll just take off my sweatshirt. And I looked at it as a fucking Hellfire shirt. I was like, I cannot take off my fucking sweatshirt. Like, even though like I know like it's not that big of a deal and it's like whatever, it's fucking Stranger Things, like just the cringe surrounding it. And see, this is fucking ego thing. I know this is like an egocentric thing. I couldn't think of the idea of like some like person walking up to me and being like saying some sort of like horrible reference